strangest unsolved mysteries from every U.S. state. Part 2, Florida. In 1951, authorities found the remains of a 67-year-old woman named Mary Reeser. When they found her, Mary's body was almost entirely made of ash, and it was clear she died in a fire. However, please notice that the apartment that Mary's body was found in was practically untouched, and the only things that were actually burnt was Mary's body and a little bit of her surroundings. This absolutely baffled scientists, because for a body to be burned in the ashes the way that Mary's body was, it needs to be burnt for 3 hours in a 3,000-degree fire. And it is literally impossible for a fire that big to leave the apartment practically untouched. While some believe that she died as a result of spontaneous human combustion, even today, scientists have no official explanation as to how or why Mary died.
The strangest unsolved mysteries from each state. Today we have Idaho. Idaho or Idaho? In 1982, a man wandered into the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Boise, Idaho, where it appeared as if he was standing in line for confessional. Which is where you tell a person in a box all your little dirty secrets. He never made it to the booth. In fact, when it was his turn to go, he was dead on the floor. It was later determined that he had swallowed a cyanide capsule, although nobody knows whether it was intentional or forced. In his pockets, they found a lot of cash with a note that said the money was for his funeral. The note was signed WML To Me, which is a company that manufactures and sells priest clothing. It gets even weirder. 1 year before his death, 2 priests in Arizona were found murdered with a wrongfully convicted suspect held at fault. The man who died in the church was wearing a belt buckle that was traced back to Arizona, and a lot of people think that he was the one who murdered those 2 priests. So do you think his death was a suicide or a retaliation murder? Do you think he was at confession to confess all of his crimes or commit another one? What's the deal with the money in his pocket saying that it's for his funeral? I wonder if they actually used it for his funeral or just pocketed the cash.
Deepfakes are going to become a major problem. For example, take a look at this TikTok account. At first you might recognize this girl as Charli D'Amelio, but that's where you're wrong. This is some random girl/company that is using Charli's face without permission to promote their brand. A deepfake is an advanced filter that takes all of your pictures and videos on social media to make a mask of your face that can be put on anyone's body. Take a look at this example from a public address Obama put out.
You see, I would never say these things. At least not in a public address. But someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time.
While deepfakes in politics could be a dangerous thing, what's more scary is what they can do to you. 96% of all deepfakes are used for porn. There are websites dedicated to these types of videos, and it's not just celebrities that are at risk. If you post to social media, you could become a victim as well. People can pay money to have one made of someone they personally know. Creators of these videos take away the victim's control of their own face and use it for something they never wanted. These videos can then be used for revenge, blackmail, or to ruin someone's life. And as of now, there's not much we can do to stop.
What happened to the Roanoke colony? The year is 1587. 2 men by the names of Sir Walter and John White embark on the second all-time mission to colonize America. They land at Roanoke, which is an island in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. They bring 117 other colonists with them. Of those colonists, 91 were men, 17 were women, and 9 were children. Sometime in very late 1587, colony started to run out of supplies. Leader John White opted to make the treacherous journey across the pond back to England. Now keep in mind, this is the late 1500s. There's no airplanes to make a cross-continental trip in under 7 hours. The journey for John White to go from America to England back to America was a 3-year trip. It also wasn't good that England was in a war with Spain, which halted his trip. It is now sometime in August of 1590. John White returns with a few more colonists. However, every single colonist that was left at the Roanoke colony is gone. No footprints, no blood, just gone. The only clue was the word Croatoan, which was carved into one of the trees. To this day, nobody knows what happened to the Roanoke colony.
Mysterious photos that can't be explained. In 2014, 2 Dutch students, Liz Van Vroon and Chris Krimmers, went missing after going on a hike in Panama. 10 weeks later, their backpack was found in a rice paddy, but it was completely dry, and inside was a camera with strange pictures on it from the time they were missing. 2 months after that, authorities found bone fragments from both Lisanne and Chris, but to this day, no one knows what the pictures mean or what really happened to the girls.
Now you might think holding a plane for ransom and then escaping mid-flight without anybody noticing is impossible, but in 1972, Dan Cooper did just that. So Cooper hops onto a plane in Portland, bound for Seattle, slipping a note to the flight attendant and telling her he has an explosive. The airline agrees to his demands of approximately $1 million US today and 4 parachutes to be ready on their arrival in Seattle. And they do all of this with the other passengers none the wiser. Once he gets his ransom, he lets all the passengers off the flight and then tells the captain that they're flying to Mexico, but first they're going to stop off in Nevada. Now when they arrive in Reno, Nevada, that's when they notice that but he's not on the plane anymore. At some point, he'd managed to jump out of the plane without anybody noticing. I mean, how does that even happen? There's like air pressure and etc, etc. The last lead was in 2017 when they found a parachute strap in one of Cooper's potential landing sites. But other than that, he's never been seen or heard from again.
Strangest Unsolved Mysteries in Every U.S. State. Part 6, Illinois. During the 1940s, police received more than 24 cases of a strange gas in Illinois. The people in the cases generally reported smelling a weird, putrid odor in their homes that caused them to feel nauseous, cough, vomit, and even be paralyzed for days. No physical evidence was ever found inside any of the homes. To this day, no one knows if it was a chemical attack, or an instance of mass hysteria, or something else.
Creepy Unsolved Mysteries Part 1. In 1959, 9 ski hikers went on a trip in the Ural Mountains. It was located in Russia, and on their last night, they set up camp and had dinner. But that night, when they went to bed, they were never found again. They had sent a rescue team, and when they finally found the group's tent, it was ripped open from the inside with footprints everywhere. Some of the footprints were boots, socks, and bare feet, which is weird in cold weather. They followed the tracks and found 2 bodies, which were just completely naked in their underwear. Over the next couple of months, they found the rest of the 7 bodies. One body had brutal force to the head like it was beaten. Some even had chest fractures. They said the injuries to those bodies were equivalent to people who got into car crashes. One body was even missing its tongue, eyes, and lips, while another body had strange high radiation on his clothes. Was it aliens? A science experiment gone wrong? A crazy tribe attack? It's still a mystery to this day. What do you think? Comment below. And like this video if you want a part 2.
I wanted to have a little fun, so here are 3 theories that make you think. The lines on detergent caps are higher than they should be, so you use more detergent for each load of laundry, so that you have to buy more of their product. And it's the same thing for the amount of toothpaste you see in ads. You don't actually need to use that much, you only need to use a pea-size amount. There's a theory that Swiper and the map are in cahoots. Think about it. How does Swiper always know where Dora will be? And who is telling Dora where to go? I'm looking at you, Matt. And last but not least, the Department of Transportation bought way too many orange barrels, so most of them have to be stored on highways. Do any of these sound true to you? Let me know in the comments.
300,000 babies were stolen from their parents in Spain between 1939 and the 1990s by a secret network of doctors, nurses, priests, and nuns. It started as a way to take babies away from vulnerable mothers who they viewed as politically unsuitable and put the babies into families who were loyal to dictator Francisco.